The road to Masters London continues right now in this elimination game. First out is NRG!
NRG have got such a tough road through this lowers. They're clearly up to the task of going on runs like this, but at the moment they still, I think, have got some stuff to figure out about themselves. And my big question really is what the depth of their map pool looks like currently. They had to reinvent themselves early on in this stage, and we still haven't seen them in lots of maps in the pool.
And they've had a lot of time as well to prep, to change things up. Since that first week when they faced FURIA, that's what they were trying to do when they realized maybe the approach that they had towards the beginning, since Master Santiago wasn't the right one, and every single week they look better and better. But it's a run that has to be perfect. They did it at Champs, 6 games in a row that they were winning, and this time around is 3. You win 3, you're in, and you make it to another international.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road ahead for NRG. I think this is a squad that they're more than capable, but we'll see what they've got up their sleeves.
E os seus oponentes, os atuais campeões do kickoff, se prepara porque hoje é dia de FURIA!
Well, I've got a lot of reinventing to do as well, with not a lot of breathing room to do so in this lowers, but they seem up to the task. I mean, the arrival interview where we were speaking to Alan, he seemed quite confident. He said that the whole team had this 3 to 4 hour talk, but I do think that they're in this almost like this identity crisis almost, where the strengths that were working for them in the past, these days in the current meta, the way it's been settling, a lot of teams playing this heavy retake, they can't really lean as heavily onto the operator usage as they have done in the past. And not just that as well, I think they're at a bit of a disadvantage when it comes to the map pool overall, because the permabanner fracture, NRG have shown, listen, it's not the best fracture in the world, but they've shown a willingness to play it, and it will give them an advantage in a match like this, where there are no second chances. It's the lower bracket from the beginning, elimination, you have to go all the way from here.
If you listen to the FURIA players though, they think that that match they just played against Leviatán was an outlier, a real underperformance. Didn't EU just say it was like one of the most embarrassing games that he'd ever played? If they play like they did the first time that these two teams matched up against each other, FURIA is going to wipe the floor, but I think NRG have developed from there.
All right, and here's the map set for this series. Lotus picked by NRG. Haven picked by FURIA.
Okay.
They are 1 and 3 this stage.
Yes.
It's an unusual one.
That's a choice.
I think it's pretty interesting to start up as well for NRG. I know we talk a lot about Crew under Lotus before they lost, but for NRG, you look at the past year, and they've won 10 out of the 12 maps of Lotus that they've played, and that is only changing from the Race to the Neon, and the addition of Kiko with him being in the Omen, which is what Tom was doing before, so it's a map that has been super consistent for them, and it's a really good way to start.
Yeah, I mean, we call this one a Looney Tunes map veto in the business, because you're going into 2 maps that you haven't even seen NRG, and they're the kings of anti, so...
That's exactly what I wanted to make the point of, which is like, I think to beat NRG, you need to take them to unknown territory with your own map pool. You need to direct it in a way where they can't anti-strat you, because this is what has won them trophies. This is what got them to the position where we're talking about them being reigning champions, is their ability to dissect what a team is doing well and absolutely crush it on a day-to-day basis.
I think this puts a lot of pressure actually on FURIA to be able to win here, which is such a weird thing to say because this is their opponent's map pick.
Right.
But actually, I think FURIA have got to come out and showcase that they can, with a slightly different composition. You know, this is not the solo duelist that NRG are running. This is Alam on Neon. This is Koala Noob on Raze. Can you make those two the key component of a victory here on Lotus?
This is what we were talking about, the changes that FURIA needs to make, and it feels like a small one for Koala Noob. We haven't gotten the chance to see much of that Raze recently, but last year when he was playing for Navi, and even before when he was playing for M80, this is one of the races, one of the agents that was very characteristic for him. So switching it up, finding some comfort, and still having that space that they were able to get with Alum.
Yeah, they're currently 1-1 on this map, so let's see if they can steal away this map victory before their own map choice. Let's get into our first map of the day and send it over to your casters. Here's Mimi and Ender.
We've got 6 teams down in the lower bracket here in Americas, but there's only room for 1 more team to join Leviatán and G2 at Masters 2 in London. Today, it's not even about qualifying for that. It is just about staying alive here, Mimi.
And these are 2 teams that both attended that first global, that were both in the top 3 back in kickoff. They both have very high expectations of themselves. But one of them is going out in 8th place. For one of these teams, it is a massive gulf against their past performances. So the pressure is on, the map veto is interesting, and it's do or die.
Yeah, exceptional pressure on a team like NRG coming in as the 4th seed. Only have one shot. They cannot lose here if they want to stay in it. It's time for match start, presented by Samsung OLED Lotus to kick off this series. NRG's map pick.
This new comp for FURIA has to be about execs. And early on, all 5 players ready towards C.
Well, they're certainly taking that idea. The paint shells break both pieces of the thorns, but NRG have plenty of rotations coming online. Alum already into the site. Stepping forward now as the haunt is broken. FURIA still haven't taken that fight, is now stepping into the smoke, trade things out. NRG brawl it down, and it's going to be even for a moment. As FURIA don't have a comfortable position, Nerve tries to box himself in with the smoke.
Look at NRG freeze. They're still just holding back site, waiting for the refight.
Taking stock, there's a paranoia, finally comes down. As Nerve is pushed back, EU will cover. And now NRG, Kiko trying to get things back online as a flash connects, and now Brock jumps from above, trying to take down Nerve. He's low, and it's Kiko for 3 to start off this series.
Great start for Kiko. He has been such a standout player in the last couple games for NRG. Whether it be the maps we're seeing him on the Jet or the Phoenix or swapping back to the smokes here as well. It's just been so consistent as that one British player here in America is looking to get a slot. And I love the way that NRG ended up playing this retake, right? They give that bit of space once their Vice utility is destroyed. And they do a great job of waiting for their opponent to use their tools before they then re-pushed and took their own space to win out the round.
A lot of energy for the defensive side. Quick fist bump between new assistant coach Mitch and Bonkar.
Yeah, Bonkar was going a little too crazy alone during the Sen series in that coaching booth.
Need some emotional assistance down there in the coaching booth, and the analysis as well from the former C9 player. Now FURIA just try to bait out some utility in here onto the B site.
I want to talk about the comp change for FURIA. When you're giving up that second smoker in the Viper, you have to invest so much more of your attack side around succeeding in your faster rounds. What the Viper normally gives you is an option to pivot back late A, have lurks embedded there. You don't have that luxury with this comp. So the execs, the team play, that's got to be on point, and Mata, tested, will get away.
Yeah, it was a decent paranoia, but the fact that Ethan is there to offer a little extra support from Mata stuffs this hit out. Now NRG have brought the right pieces into the picture. Brock there on the Vise will take 3 of his own.
Brock has been the standout player really alongside Kiko for NRG in these last few games. In that nail-biter against Sen, the longest game of the stage, it was him stepping up on this very map.
It was, but NRG's stage got off to a really rocky start. This matchup is actually what kicked off the stage 1 for them, where FURIA took down NRG 2-0 off of a pretty solid performance at Masters 1.
And that was a wake-up call for them, right? They changed their compositions, they improved some of their macro ideas, the team play got better, and now they're starting to peak just at the right time against a FURIA who's had kind of the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite trajectory. FURIA with that 13-1 loss just 2 days ago. Now they have to take their own wake-up call and make major adjustments quickly here in the lower bracket. No more second chances after this. Good shot out from Nerve, just battling it down over Mound. So the Smokes player for FURIA, solo Smokes with the new comp. We'll get it done here in the 3rd round with the rifles up.
Still Brock on this site.
Even with the Spectre going for a little bit of wall pen there, not going to get the job quite done. But even Stinger's been pretty effective here when FURIA try to work their way into a site. Good kill from him, just 3 away now from the Nightfall.
But with these guns, not much hope other than to do damage at this point in the round. I really like how FURIA managed to clear out that aggression in Mound. They quickly recognized that that was happening, slowed their roll, and instead shifted their util patterns to just punish Mata on that forward line.
Yeah, NRG just going to play for exits, die to the spike here more than likely. And just looking at how these first few rounds have gone for FURIA, I actually like some of their chances, how close they are to getting a Fade ult and a Raze ult into the game. You're talking about how when they went for this double duelist comp, making the change after playing it 4 times this stage, there's a lot to be relied, I think, upon having those big exec pieces, especially with the ults.
Yeah, the nice tools that you have are the Raze nade, as we saw in that pistol round, that can help you break that Vice utility, make C a little bit more permeable. And then you have a lot of tools like you're talking about with those ultimates to snowball rounds once you start to win. I'd like to see them look to get that Raze rocket online for this coming round 4.
Just nice shots here at the start of the round from Nerve to set this up for FURIA.
Yeah, he set an unenviable record in their last game for Americas with the least kills, and here, looking more himself. That was, I think, an underperformance from everyone, from the team as a whole. It called the match embarrassing in how they lost that upper bracket.
Yeah, it was kind of just like Artson and then no one else behind him. Art putting up a ridiculous performance, head in hands, after that series went the way it did, because the first 2 maps he played were absolutely stunning.
And the map one looked so promising for them as well. They're to fall apart in the latter half of that Leviatán series.
But now with a chance to tie things up, FURIA is still just 1 away from those 2 big ults.
Nade used this time. It won't catch out the Vice util, and NRG have invested in an additional player to help hold.
Yeah, Scuba and Brock love to play this little high-low together. Punish onto a player breaking the wall. It will just be a little bit of chip damage down onto Alum for now.
But look at the map control they've lost. Mata postured up on A, allowing his team to stay heavily stacked towards the BC side.
Yeah, FURIA basically give up the ability to lurk aggressively without having a Viper here, so it gives these gaps over for NRG to step up into. So FURIA have to fight their way back in, and it's a good fight for now. But keep your eyes on Ethan, who has stepped in to support his duelist. Little ping-pong setup.
I don't think NRG are biting. They still have 2 players on C. This is all a fake.
Yeah, NRG are never ones to over-rotate. Ethan calls a very solid defensive side.
30 seconds left.
You see Mata still jiggling this. He's starting to get aware, and now that rotate coming in.
Having a read there with the early snake bite. There is still some thorns deep here by Bend, which is just going to allow Brock to lay waste to FURIA when they come in.
4 players here.
It's got to be perfect for FURIA on the exec. It's a decent enough seize, but we're down to the wire. It's 4 players rotating in from NRG, 10 seconds on the clock. No one has been cleared away as FURIA try to pivot back into the B side to teleport into the middle. NRG rinse FURIA at the last moment in this round. They never stood a chance.
That round displays exactly what FURIA are compromising with this new composition. When you give up the Viper, when you don't have tools to condition back towards A, it is so hard to avoid Mata getting into a position exactly like he did in this round. Sure, they went back to invest tools and push him off the line, but that all takes time. And NRG is a team that know their win conditions, that will proactively re-clear that space and still get ahead of you on these rotates.
Just the hard read there from Ethan. Not letting those gaps step up on the defense side. As Mata will pick up an Outlaw, expecting some light armors from FURIA, and it's a decent enough read. 3 of them in the FURIA camp. This time FURIA trying to do a little bit more work to break that utility at the start. Might even just accelerate in. Here's the ultimates now as a showstopper connects onto Scuba. That's one of the anchors dealt with, and even though a Steel Garden was popped, I'm not sure if NRG have a fight here. Without keeping any players alive on site, impossible to really capitalize off that, so that's almost wasted.
Just looking for the spam with the Odin. That's a good one out of Koala.
Real nice. See how low Ethan is too. 2 HP for the Fade player, and Koala has gotten all 3 kills this round for FURIA. Round where they came in, a little bit worse for wear. Now Mata trying to figure out how to retake. It's the only real element NRG can play with. That Outlaw not going to do anything. 3 kills for the Rays, 1 for the Neon. FURIA come up big on the seaside.
That round displays just how much easier it gets when you have those big ults online. The showstopper trivially separates the 2 anchors on C, gets an opening pick and some great shots from Koala. Win the round before anyone else even got involved.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to in the last round. If FURIA were able to take that, then for the next 2-3 rounds, they start cycling ultimates, and this game could have easily started to slip away from NRG. How those shook out at the start.
My question is if NRG want to get a defensive op online. They won't have the money for it this round, but I think later on, Mata having that tool to aggressively hold the A line and allow even heavier stacks towards CB would be a really good path forward for them. We saw some of that in the Sen series later in their defensive half.
That up really powerful when attacking teams are playing slower rounds or not having the tools. I'm not sure what he's holding there.
Yeah, you become pretty reliant on contacting around the map when you have these kind of lesser tools. Of course, you do have the Vise Flash, the util from your Fade, but those are all kind of finite resources.
Yeah, and if FURIA play that slower style and try to work the map a bit, that's where the op fries. it might not find as much success if FURIA just tap into the idea of, hey, we have Raze and Neon, we can just run execs on sites, and then you're either getting overwhelmed with the up or being forced to retake with it, kind of like how we saw with that Outlaw in the last round.
And that's true, but I still need to see FURIA proving that they can win these hard C execs when they don't have the ults.
That's true.
I think that the NRG anchors in previous rounds had really good approaches of varying where that Vice util was, so it's not getting caught by the nades and just cooking them when they exec. That's what happened in that late pivot round 4.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if Bonkar is going to suggest some different approaches for NRG, calling this timeout after just losing that round 5.
Yeah, it is pretty early on here, after only dropping those 2.
And out of this timeout, it'll be FURIA pivoting over to the A side. Koala likes his chances with an Outlaw.
And it's a change-up with the Vise as well. The wall going over towards A this time.
So that'll be the adjustment. Even now, Scuba picking up duty on the B site. This is a really good read from NRG coming out of the timeout.
That deep C's makes you feel like maybe the Neon's pushing up behind it. Instead, it's this quiet stack on A, and there's Mata. Just rips Koala's head off from the off angle.
Catches him completely off guard there. The fake from Ethan was good, and it's Brock to pick up the Odin, of course, over on Lotus. Great map for him. And now FURIA left just hoping that one of these Soul players can find something, but it's a little bit too passive from Scuba to really capitalize off of. That's a nice molly on the ground. The vulnerable, very important to get that kill on the sliding Neon.
Mata in the right place again.
I like these off angles they're holding. I mean, the defense side from NRG is always a treat to watch. Whether it's that initial macro idea of faking that C-side aggression to get the pick, or even just how those individual anchors play, the angles they choose to fight is always very well thought through.
It's beautiful stuff from them. NRG's micro across the players is truly world-class, as Nerve will easily be cleaned up. Looking back at this round, I'm impressed with the way that NRG played with expectations out of this timeout. If you're FURIA, you're thinking, they're going to change how they play C after losing there. You're expecting aggression, and they throw the same piece of util you would see there with the fade haunt, with a one-way. All of that makes you think the Neon's going to be doing something over here. So they look to contact into what they're expecting to be a weak A, and there's just 3 different guys on off angles ready to rip you.
Just a perfect round out of NRG. So now FURIA go back to the tried and true. EU's been sitting on that Nightfall for a couple rounds, so time to use that over on the C side.
Maybe everyone's going crazy in NRG. The maniacal cackling from Ethan as well. Bonkar in the Sen game.
They're enjoying it when things are going well for NRG as their year started heating up. They needed that just to squeak into playoffs as the 4 seed. Now they're going to hear that wall get tripped. But NRG might be expecting a re-hit. FURIA actually choosing to step on out of here for now.
This looks a lot more like the earlier rounds in this half. Neon posted forward on A. The stall agents over on the other side of the map.
Yeah, again, just a pixel angle for Mata to work off of. This time, no kill to be found, but Alum's a little bit lower on just a stinger this round.
Last time FURIA showed this, it was a fake to go back into C.
And it might be that again, honestly. Just leaving Alum inserted over by Tree Door. Him being the player on low HP, him being the one with the bad gun. But Nerve is a little quick on the lurk, yeah. Scuba just abusing an off angle again. This is what I was talking about. NRG are always in the uncomfortable positions to clear away. And even there, just a great haunt over the top. Sets up for a little bit of extra poke damage. And there's Mata on yet another angle, just catching FURIA out as they try to slowly contact in. Pace change seems almost necessary for FURIA if they want to make any attempt at winning some of these rounds. This is a flawless out of NRG.
NRG have them locked down on the read. This FURIA team has been getting away with contacting around the map so much in their recent matches. And here, NRG have players in the perfect position to shut it down. When do you ever see a Viper playing that?
No.
You just
not often.
don't. But they know that this team loves walking. They trust their aim to succeed in those positions. And they're getting rewarded for it. So I think you're right. As FURIA calls this timeout, it has to be some kind of change of pace. They need to be using utility to get into these forward angles.
Yeah, I almost wonder what FURIA can do around B, because outside of the, what was it, I think the second round or something like this, where they went the very late B pivot, yeah. They have not really gone there at all. It's been C opens virtually every single round out from them. And I think it's sort of simplified the macro reads out from NRG. NRG are always getting that forward position over by A and then having perfect knowledge where FURIA are on the map.
For sure. There is still normally Viper utility, some other stall pieces there on B that make it a little difficult to just hard exec, but I wouldn't hate to see them, especially on a half buy like this, try something a bit faster, at least experiment. A lot of tough questions for FURIA. You're at such a disadvantage here. Sure, you got to start in the upper bracket, but NRG, one of the best prep teams in the league, got to watch your VOD, has been heating up through the end of their stage. You're playing an NRG that is just hitting their peak while you're coming off of the lowest point of your season.
And now being asked to make those adjustments on the fly and make them quickly. You heard Alum talking about how they sat down for, what, 3 or 4 hours and just tried to talk through what was going wrong, come up with a plan. Now they just have the 60 seconds to confer with their coach and figure out what it's going to need to be. See, NRG's read out of the timeout was to double stack on the B side. Similar to what they did the last time when they took the timeout themselves, expecting a change from FURIA.
Look how deep the Thorns are positioned now. Trying to make sure those don't get naded, that the deeply positioned players can punish on the slide.
The Thorns have always had one over near bend, but never quite that deep before. Usually they were around the off angle that was being abused by Scuba just the previous round. And well, welcome to the Odin show. FURIA on a half buy here. We'll have a nice little TP move from Nerve, and now he's got the Odin for himself. Tough to flush him out of this position too, especially as he's gonna try and escape himself. Ethan will find his mark, full protection by that smoke on site. And now that X Factor from FURIA ripped away.
Spike still not planted. FURIA want to try and get a fight.
Yeah, that C tries to set up for a fight, and Artson will get on the board for himself. It's a 2-on-3, make that a 1-on-3 now. There's a Spike left out in the open. Art's been off to a tougher start to this match after an amazing performance just a few days ago, and he will not be able to find anything in that 1-on-3 there.
NRG have done an excellent job of conceding just the right amount of space on C. It's very rare this game we've seen them give up the entire site. Instead, they're almost always just playing people in these backside areas, set up in deep crossfires with that smoke front sight. And that's an attacker smoke getting from, but it almost works to their advantage because it's isolating fights from the players that are coming around bend if they actually want to try and get the plant down.
And so maybe the real plan from FURIA coming online here. They switch over towards the A side. EU's got his ult back online, and Koala has a showstopper of his own. Actually, it's Koala's second ult of the half, but he's just spammed out before he gets to use it. This has been a big problem from FURIA, sitting on these ults for a long time. Now a teleport over from Kiko to hold on to this A site. How did FURIA advance from here? It stuns traded between the Neons, but still FURIA with no headway into the site.
They have to freeze, trying to walk back towards spawn, and that's a kill. That's what they needed.
Maybe opening up a path into B. That's going to force Ethan to stick around on there.
Look at Mata's position, though.
Going for that clear forward. It's Kiko to land the first, and now that leg spotted is easy pickings for Mata.
One enemy remaining.
Just casually working their way back into the site. NRG just look great out here today.
Again, the round hits a freeze, and NRG have the perfect answer as to where they're fighting. Just beautifully orchestrated from them. They're not rushing any of these duels. It always feels like they're the ones at the advantage. They're picking when they're dueling.
Yeah, and it makes it really strange for FURIA because, like I was trying to say, like, EU's been sitting on this Nightfall since round 4, I think. Koala has his second online, but this round he's just spammed through a smoke, unfortunately. I don't think FURIA have actually got to play a round that they wanted to. They haven't been able to play a real exec in the last 4 rounds.
The dive players have been shut down every time. Here's another chance.
Well, that spam coming down. Showstopper this time. See if it can push Kiko out of here. He teleports away from it, slipping into the gap as Nerf finds another forward pick. He's been very strong on these entries.
This is their best chance yet.
See what they can do. Kiko down into the site. And he's completely unexpected. Kiko traded out by Nerve, who continues to be there when his team needs him. Now for Scuba, try and have some impact on this flank, but with all of FURIA playing on site, Scuba's not going to see anyone. Ethan as well, having two players swing straight on into him, isolated away from his teammate. Won't be able to do much. Scuba just walking into his demise. That's a three-piece out of Nerve. And I just gotta say again that while the rest of the team has been struggling, Nerve has really been stepping up to the plate in these few rounds.
And in the last two, it's been these double TP plays that have gotten him into excellent positions. This is the opener from Koala, or rather from Elim, getting that kill with the shotgun. But what's excellent there is that as all this chaos is happening on the site, look at Nerve in that smoke, stepping up, getting the pick as people are trying to flood in.
Now the question is, how many times can you replicate that? Because you can get away with those crazy teleports one, maybe two times.
Well, it's tough when there's 4 players here ready to fight on A.
Yeah. X's with the fast lanes. Mata just waiting on the other side of Rubble here, but FURIA have good position. EU boosted up on route, and now the spam lands onto NRG's Duelist. Those other players, they start to scatter away, stuck behind layers of smoke utility. Waiting for a chance to strike back in. Ethan spotting Koala there.
EU still has this Nightfall to re-exec.
Holding that for a while. How's it going to come online? Now without Art to play with, NRG have rotated everyone over here. Stark contrast to the start of this half, when NRG held their ground. This time Brock has made it all the way over to the A side of the map, drops a very forward steel garden. It's only Alum that can fire back here with the lightning. Zapping down NRG, but these smokes continue to just slow down any chances of forward progression.
Still FURIA stuck in the same spot they started the round.
And another smoke drops down. Looks like B is going to be the pivot. But Brock has moved all the way deep to hold.
Low HP and Odin waiting for them.
30 seconds left.
Starts to think maybe they went all the way around the world. FURIA taking their time. Nerve is so low. If he can do anything here on 3 HP, FURIA have a very good shot here in the post plant. And a Nightfall too for the post. Finally a chance to bring that online. NRG have rotated over there. No one getting tagged by the Nightfall makes things real strange. It's a good holdout from Allen as another player steps into his crosshair. And this round completely spirals back towards FURIA. It was looking rough for a while. The early brawl over A main, the amount of stall NRG had. That controlled play worked out from FURIA. Now a second kill from Scuba. Nearly makes a go for it, but Alum will see this round through.
It is wild that FURIA come out with that one of all rounds. You can see how grim this was. NRG had the perfect read. 4 players waiting, a refight at the exact precise moment they needed to. But it was these two. Nerve getting that kill onto Ethan, and then Alum in the late round, managing to clean up the second they had a door into B. And from what was such a grim half for FURIA, they could take this one 7-5 now, but as we go to the last round, for the first time, both duelists by an operator.
Yep. Mata waiting for it over on the A side, while Kiko just throws that low smoke, tries to hide that behind Mound so he wouldn't get tagged up by the scouting util. Cute idea, but now NRG rotates straight in to this B pop. Sliding through, Alum is down, no support behind it. FURIA were trying to spam down through the green wall, but Scuba survives on 32 HP.
Look at the next layer. NRG is ready towards A. The op is here. That's a kill.
Perfect utility, setting up Mata for that shot. And then the C's behind it as well, so FURIA have really been slowed down. Still have a minute to work with, but with only 2 players alive. They're gonna need some major heroics to carve a path back in.
They're hoping that NRG give them something, that they can pull rotations with Nerve's pressure on C and walk back into A, but Mata is not moving.
Nerve has that ultimate to reposition, and he will use it over into Tree, canceled out. I was thinking maybe he would go for a play on C before that, And now,
30 seconds left.
Instead of going A, FURIA regroup to try on B once again.
But there's still a player here. Rotates will be very quick into this B site.
And I don't think Scuba's gas has been challenged either. Can throw up this wall for a good long time.
There it is.
15 seconds left. FURIA stepping into a disadvantaged situation, and Scuba is waiting for the dive. A pit as well to try and flood NRG back into this site. Paranoia connects on both players. I mean, it is brutality from NRG. A perfect finish to this half.
This was an excellent defensive half across the board from NRG. They continue to impress me with the way that they're approaching fights in the mid-round. It's not only that micro later on, but also their read overall. To give very little, to play off angles and punish FURIA when they contact. This is the NRG you fear in the lower bracket. This is the NRG that comes in prepared. And now a big task ahead to bring it back. 8-4. We'll head to the second after this.
Hey, we got this old mattress.
Waterbed.
And the receipt.
How about you beat it with a better deal on one of these fresh setups?
We can't do that.
Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill for a better deal today.
Guess you're not as cool as Verizon.
I'm just gonna leave it.
In person at the Copper Box Arena. Starting June 6th, you can scan the QR code to score your tickets to VCT's next global event. And I have a feeling that there might be two people sitting on the stage that could be heading there, guarding our players as they step onto enemy soil.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys are going to do a great job of defending the king.
Didn't we like fight a war to stop the, what's going on here? We got the red coats on the stage here.
The red coats have claimed California.
They've claimed the Riot Games Arena. Stoic as they stand there up on stage. Gotta say, love London. Absolutely lovely over there. I think that's what they say. It's lovely over there.
Well, those two don't say anything.
They don't say anything.
That's like the whole bit.
That's the whole bit.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have like horses or something? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, let's play some Valorant. It's time for the second half. NRG up 8-4 here, fighting against elimination in the lower bracket for both these two teams.
Interesting Viper wall on the pistol. Fully towards C for NRG to bisect front sight.
Yeah, a little bit different with that one. Scuba just tears Koala's head off, holding for the slide, but Alum will be able to trade that one out. Interestingly, that this door has never been broken. NRG popped that one down, and Mata not ready for Nerve to be that second layer on the defense. Two nice shots from him.
They're pivoting again. Yeah, go back into A, get a 2v2 in the post plant. But there's a chance for EU and Arts, and yeah, this is a pivotal round for FURIA to win. And Art, he was the monster yesterday. Today, he's struggled so far.
See what he can do here. Brock still holding that forward line. Can only see the top of FURIA's heads.
They've already bought so much time.
Still not the end of the world for FURIA. But two players in tree. Difficult to clear out of here. Good flash, swinging back into it. Art is down. And now EU goes onto the spike at the wrong moment. Brock will collect two, and NRG have their pistol.
What's so impressive to me about NRG is that they're always looking for the next way to press the advantage. It's very rare that you see them just completely sit back and let their opponent make a play. Instead, when they're freezing, it's with very clear intent, and when they're refighting in, it comes at great times. You see it at the end there with that swing off the flash, ahead of a tap even coming in. You see it earlier in the round with the refight towards Breakdoor.
Let's kill this competition.
I think knowing the timing when to go for those plays, it's what really separates the great teams from the good teams. NRG certainly in that prior bucket.
Well, NRG back to a C open, but this time with a more normal Viper wall on the A side. FURIA creeping up 4 players behind it. But without Scuba home, should be easy enough for NRG to avoid this stack.
Nice and free C site for them. I've seen a lot of teams buying very heavily into their anti because this is more close to a proper FPX buy from NRG with those 2 rifles and, of course, the Odin being one of them.
I don't think you can call it an FPX buy when they have a Marshall and a Stinger in there as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to veto that one.
They actually have money left, I mean. Like, a lot of teams have been full buying down. It's a little fake, but...
Yeah. We need to bring the sanctity back to the FPX
Sorry,
buy.
You're the FPX by purist. It has to be
It's got to be 3 real rifles.
Pistols,
Bulldog doesn't count.
Yep.
Outlaw doesn't count.
I think Outlaw should count. Anyways.
NRG going to move up to 10 after this round, and I'm a little concerned for FURIA how they're supposed to play out on the defense side, because we talked a lot about how we were expecting them to be a little bit more explosive, attacking into sites with the double duelist, but now they don't have that extra layer of stall without a Viper.
It's a lot harder to actually hard hold your C site, so you want to be looking to re-aggress in the mid-round, find plays to get your duelist active. But it's a challenge against an NRG that is very willing to play that slower style, look to bait out those plays, and punish it.
And you know, even though we look ahead, and this is NRG's map pick, Haven is coming up next for FURIA, Desk had a lot to say about that Haven pick.
It's strange, right? You're going into back-to-back question marks where you haven't seen NRG play on Haven or on Ascent, and you're staking your life in this tournament on it.
And this Lotus being a map that was good for FURIA in their prior matchup to NRG. See if they can get something going here on defense now. NRG just try to bait on in and slide away with Mata. It's a good paint shell to collect on Ethan. That spike getting dropped too. As FURIA laid down a few extra bullets into the smoke.
NRG loses spike, but they look to recoup space elsewhere. A walk into B uncontested for now, but they're pushing on the other side.
This is dangerous. Artson patrolling from above. Spot Scuba jumping up, but there's no kill to be found. Art gonna be kicking himself for losing that fight, as that's given NRG a perfect way back into this round.
He needed that kill.
It's a good slide, and Brock is there behind the stun. Perfect setup from Alum. From Mata rather, as NRG crushed through FURIA. This the bonus round from NRG. FURIA already slipping away in this map. A disaster for them.
3 players holding for Alum. Looking to put the end to this round.
It's a good hold too. No way in.
Brock taking that swing, taking that fight. Those proactive plays in the mid-round have just been excellent today from NRG. And the stun to set it up from Mata here.
Hits all 4 players for this, by the way.
That's 1, 2, 3 stun. The Neon is bouncing away to avoid it. No, he's stunned too.
Yeah.
Players dead. It's literally perfect.
That might be the best Neon stun I've ever seen.
Bingo!
So close to the 4K. Would have changed the reaction there from NRG's IGL, and that is going to bring us to a very early FURIA timeout. They've lost the first 3 rounds of defense. They don't have a beautiful buy heading into the next, and Mimi, they don't have really time to come back now.
You could argue it's too late, if anything. Down 11-4 against an NRG attack side that has looked good, that they're already close to some of their key ults on. This is a really bad position for FURIA to be in. And I think right now, you can't look big picture. You just have to look round by round. Hope that you can get something going at least in time to recoup for Haven. But what tools do you have for it? You've just lost the bonus. Your buy is looking horrible going into this round, but you feel like you have to force.
And it's been such a negative roll from FURIA as well. You think about halfway through their second map versus Leviatán, getting crushed there, losing 13-1, now trailing 11-4 on a brand new day. But it's elimination day too.
If they lose this map in the single digits, it would be 3 maps in a row, 3 playoff maps. Lost like that.
Even just looking at round difference, it might be one of the worst streaks we've seen in Americas.
And this is that same team that didn't get defeated once in kickoff. They went all the way through the upper bracket.
It's a completely different story. Shell-shocked here in the playoffs, coming in as the #2 seed from Omega. It's NRG set their eyes on this C site.
The heavier side of FURIA's hold is over towards A. Just a few thorns and Nerve to hold down the fort on C.
NRG doing their due diligence right now. Get good information of what this hold's gonna look like. No Viswall here is interesting for them to find out, but now getting some spam put down into Mata. Him being on 37 HP is a big deal. All of a sudden, the Neon sliding into sight. Well, it's hard to take a Neon down sliding and jumping at 150 HP. 37? You just gotta land 1 Vandal shot? Your chance is not so bad.
NRG is re-clearing back into the stack. 3 players.
4 Guardians waiting for this.
Left.
Shots to warn them, and NRG immediately turn tail and run back to C, but there's still 2 players holding here.
And there's still thorns as well. Time to stall this out. Brock has the ult though. That'll make it much easier.
FURIA are stuck here on this site. They're gonna have to fight through with the pistols. A paranoia to slow it down, and now the thorns land a kill of all things. 8 seconds left. Kill the planter, that is the mission. That's the only thing you've got to do, and FURIA just can't find it. This one is wrapped.
Look at the way Brock and Scuba played that. Immediately recognizing the win condition with the time was to put their bodies on the line for the spike plant. They charge through the smokes, they push ahead of where FURIA expects, and they win around on the narrowest of margins. And Odin doing the damage there, as it's his teammate charging forth on the other side.
Yeah, Brock has quickly exploded to an 18-8 scoreline. After a couple 3Ks and a strong performance in this attack side.
They got rid of his Corrode. Lotus is his new best map.
On full display here, and well, would you believe it, Ethan has found exactly the weak side of the map. It is just Artson over here. Now a teleport to reinforce him from Nerve. But Art has fallen away from the site. That teleport was canceled.
It's a full retake.
And it's gonna be a full retake into a Nightfall. Ethan unlocks that with the spike plant. Paint shells hit the wrong side of the box. And there's that Nightfall, hitting everyone, trying to funnel down into the site. As it gets siphoned toward this Viper's pit, Nerve will get a kill back in spawn. NRG overextending just a tad, but still FURIA have to get into this pit somehow. NRG playing so deep away from it.
The Odin is brutal in this position.
Here it goes. First diffuser down. Brock can just sit here and wait for more players to step in. Now the pit will fall, but a dark cover gives more time. They have to hold this diffuse, but no one can deal with the spam. FURIA have no solution to come back into this site. NRG are here for playoffs. They dismantle FURIA 13-4.
NRG came in with an excellent read in the first half as to how to finish FURIA off. Their team fighting looked incredible. Brock and Scuba took over this game. This is the team that makes you afraid if you're in the lower bracket. If you're those other 5 squads, this is the NRG you fear.
Well, it's no surprise that FURIA are in a brutal position now, trailing 0-1 in this series after getting taken apart on Lotus. But the silver lining, I suppose, is that was NRG's map pick. Now they go into Haven, FURIA's choice, but things have to change, Mimi.
They do, and I want to see Koala on Jet. The Des was talking about it, Shaw was talking about it. This guy succeeds when he can off, when he can play that role. In kickoff, he was taking the operator in 22% of rounds. That includes pistols, ecos, almost a quarter of the time.
Yeah.
He had that weapon in his hand. So far in kickoff, it's been 9%, less than half. And for me, that was one of the biggest win conditions of their defensive sides in that kickoff tournament that they won.
And you know what, Mimi? FURIA are starting on the defense. Koala has locked in the jet. That means ops are going to be here for Koala. So that may come online. We'll see if it ends up being too late. For NRG, we haven't seen them play this during stage 1, and Kiko's going to be picking up the Phoenix.
I love these maps they've started to introduce with the double duelist, putting Kiko on that role. I think he looked good on the Phoenix when we saw it before, and as we've seen from the rest of Americas, this composition with the Neon, with the Phoenix, has been very meta. It's super strong for your exec power, fast rotates on defense, high uptime on the Phoenix ult. I really like this direction.
You know, it's interesting, we were talking before the series, me and you, about what NRG would be playing on this map. Does look like they are playing that Phoenix, but we were thinking for the Sentinel role, would it be a Viper instead? Would it be a Killjoy? But Scuba chooses to pick up the Cypher now. What do we make of that for NRG?
Yeah, I think NRG have rated Sentinels a little higher than other teams, and I think it's a lot to do with Ethan liking to have that utility as an asset on his defensive side. You're so much more free with how you can play your strong side, the side that wants to fight, when you have constant information with that Cypher. And on Haven especially, flood cages are a huge tool on C.
Definitely.
And on the attack side, the camera is an excellent tool for locking down space in mid and opening up your Cypher to lurk mid-round.
And a big point for the desk was Sideshow was talking about it, how he thought that Ethan was just doing a real good job calling around Art on the other side. I think the Cypher going to give NRG some very explicit tools to simplify their macro ideas, and we'll see if Art is able to step up to the plate. You know, he was the superstar for FURIA in their series loss versus Leviatán, had an absolute life game, but Lotus was a complete reversal of that fate for him.
Got 2-14. He swapped with Nerve, who the game yesterday, that was him setting that record of 1 kill, and then he was the man who was giving the most rounds to FURIA here. So you hope they can channel some of that energy, give a better match here. Their season depends on it.
Yeah, Art, a veteran, trusted and tested player here in Americas. Shouldn't be too difficult for him to reset himself, and he's actually calling for FURIA to go 3 players stepping down C immediately to start off this second map.
No one home for NRG. Instead, they full contact into the A site. So much this round comes down to when NRG recognize the flank and how they respond to it.
Yeah, and Art just chooses to fall away from the site. Maybe try to work back in, but with that flank coming online, he has to play real slow. You can jump up into heaven, has shock darts to try and disrupt the plant.
The trip will be broken, but EU dies very early there. That hurts the chances of this flank being impactful.
Yeah, only got the 1 shock off. Still got some decent damage down. Kiko on 68 HP, but this wrap from NRG might just be perfectly timed. Koala sees it, and that means that FURIA are stepping forward onto the site now. Smoke's keeping things at bay while Alum just sticks this defuse. He's going all the way for it. Finally taken down as Mata comes in from behind, wrapping through NRG. Only lose Kiko on this opener.
Another round where NRG's reactions are just better. They hear that trip get broken, go immediately to re-push through short and wrap around the punish. All the while, Mata is let off the leash to go towards spawn. But I don't think any of this is possible if EU doesn't die as early as he does in the retake.
We're pistol players in matches.
You can almost see a glimmer of a tear in Ethan's eye.
Yes, they were struggling with the pistols earlier in the stage. Definitely looked a bit better in the Sen game and here as well.
But not the start FURIA we're hoping for. That's for sure. Artson actually picked up a Bucky this round, but see if NRG end up going back into his side over on A short. He's actually got a camera that's protecting him while he stays with his face just jammed straight into the wall, waiting for the camera to spot any players advancing in.
Well, it's time for Operation Orb Max. Kiko got the orb towards C, now they'll walk back A.
Artson's like, no guys, don't go long for the orb. Just please send one person short. That's all I ask for.
Scuba would be the man to give him his chance. But he likes to slow play this, let his teammates make the first step.
Ooh, Art getting in front of the camera, hearing the drone coming down and not wanting to be cleared. I like him stepping forward. Very patient. So is Scuba. Good shot, but that's only a Sheriff to upgrade into now. FURIA up 1 man in the retake.
Look at Kiko going to pinch him from the other side. Deal with this problem early.
Yeah, Art needs to stay alive as long as possible. Delay for his teammates to get on site, but even then, FURIA do not have the weapons to make this comfortable. A good hold, though, from EU stepping forward gives FURIA a decent enough chance. And Nerve in a good position to punish that backside player. Shots exchanged as FURIA still haven't been able to work in. Getting good damage with nearly all of their players, but Alum is so low. EU just has that Bucky to play for. This round, well, it looked doable. Now getting harder and harder as there just isn't actual time to work with now. The mission becomes kill these players, stop anyone from getting out with the big rifles, but that won't even be successful. Mata collects EU and slides away.
Getting both the rifles out of that round is so big for NRG. And while the kills were great from FURIA and they looked like they had a chance, it looked better than it was because the only people actually taking those risks in short were the two players on the pistols. So you don't earn much more from getting those.
And Mata did well enough clearing back down into sewers that it didn't become an issue.
No, Dan! Dan!
Waving across the stage at EU. And you see the implication of that now. NRG keeping those rifles, getting the plants, they buy up around it.
Oh, wow. 4 light armors, but they've got the arsenal to make a good go at this.
And no outlaw on the other side.
Artson actually playing C solo with the Guardian, deep. And, well, Alum, you're kind of stuck here now. Gets away, but takes some damage on the retreat.
And with them going for closer to a true FPX buy on that pistol round, just the Marshall is that additional weapon. They'll have weapons even after that as Alum.
Ooh.
Steps into this pocket.
This is great, though, because with that deep camera over on C, that'll spot the players come around the corner, and that informs Alum when to throw the flash.
Well, it did.
Yep. The smoke is good to break up that combo trap. So now Alum will just work off of his weapon. And it's a good play, too. 1 for 1 to start things off. And now Alum works his way into the corner. Has the support of EU from behind, but all these smokes make things a little bit more complicated. The position from Artson is perfect. Gets his 2 kills and stops NRG from getting into this site.
Here comes Scuba.
I don't know if he's going anywhere, Mimi.
Yeah, just that lurk into garage. Had a chance to maybe take a timing, but now FURIA is watching it.
Yeah, I was hoping to see if anyone would rotate. He's in a good position to hear players leave the site. But now NRG are just going to be walking into this double hold. FURIA actually worried about their back because Koala rotates to A. They were concerned for a moment. Still looking forward as Brock works in. With the knife out, though, doesn't stand much of a chance against the other Sova.
That's a great round for Artson to bounce back from a bad map 1. Off of losing a player early, he retucks on a forward angle and is in a perfect position to punish as this execute comes in. That's what you need to see from the veteran player. That's what you need to see from the guy stepping up.
And that Sova dart from the attack came down just a little bit too late to actually clear that because the players were trying to get the clear on the backside guys. That's why the timing's there, but...
Here comes another fight C-Long, though.
See how it goes. Early peek from Mata. NRG can't actually stick around to fight because of the paranoia, so instantly turn tail and run towards C.
There is Cypher utility here.
Not on B, though. Not for the lurk.
Yeah, Scuba has a chance to posture up. With the run it back, that'll circumvent all this utility. And there's that pick.
Big.
Koala caught rotating.
Catching the rotator. And
he's got another fight in mid.
Still a fight in mid, exactly. Stepping up into it. EU is there. He's been good at patrolling late in these rounds.
Look at Kiko walking back, clearing this flank. Letting his teammates fully worry about spawn.
NRG in a good position for the paranoia to slow down the retake. But FURIA really taking their sweet time. It's good spam. He's too far forward there to actually use the drone. Now EU basically out of this one. Watch him shock darts to support. And the recon as well to work his team out. But a slide in perfectly timed with the flash. It's exactly what the doctor ordered. And yet it's Brock who's alone now. Hunter's Fury online. Not even waiting for it. No one's holding for him. And there isn't the time, so EU will turn tail and run. Brock wins this round for NRG.
That was a great chance for FURIA. EU getting the trade in mid onto that pick, having a straight up 4-on-4 in this retake. But Brock in the end with the Red Bull clutch. It was only made possible by how much they got sold out. Look at all 4 players coming just from spawn. No one trying to push up towards Heaven, worried about the Odin spam there. and a Paranoia, a Phoenix Flash. Every single player gets caught by that utility. And NRG easily clean up this round, reset Furia's economy, and now look to run away with this half.
The woes just continue to pile up from Furia. Was hoping that they'd have better solutions to deal with NRG, but so far this map, it's been a little bit lackluster.
Hero gun on EU is all they have. A stack behind it though on A.
Take flight.
See if Furia can stop the bleeding. Gotta be a mission to protect this gun. But it might be difficult if Brock chooses to go for the Hunter's Fury. He's definitely going to be finding people, even if he shoots randomly. There's so many bodies on site. Shouldn't be too tough for him. I like that idea from NRG to use the fast lane to bait the swing down into it. Just holding.
They're very suspicious now. They saw the Jet and the Cypher here.
Re-clear from Furia. Brock is a little bit isolated, but NRG were close enough to come back and support him. And they realize, well, there was a stack here, but now everybody's dead. And Artson picks up the gun. Good for 2. Nerve has come into the site.
30 seconds left.
Just feels a little bit hopeless for Furia. They've got people in the right positions, but they just don't have the tools to fight with. So another round goes NRG's way.
If that re-clear was a few seconds earlier, maybe you can sell a story of them getting something out of it. But instead, NRG are far enough back that the flashes don't connect. They easily shut this down. That was just a moving shot from Scuba.
Nothing you can do there. So Furia are going to be calling a timeout, and this just becomes a real moment of truth, I think, for Furia, because this is a team that so many people were excited about. Best team in Americas during kickoff, come in number 2 out of Omega. But since that second map versus Leviatán just 2 days ago, they have been on a slide. I went back and I looked at the numbers. Rounds won versus rounds lost once they started going on that losing streak.
Sure.
If you include the rounds in this game, they have won 7 rounds to their opponent's 41. I can't remember seeing a team have a streak like this in recent memory, let alone one of our top teams in the league this year.
And in playoffs as well, when it mattered most for them to show up. That's coming off of that hot start. Remember, they began this stage beating NRG, dominating them 2-0. They looked like they could be one of, if not the best teams in the league. They've slowly slipped, and now that slow fall has turned into a free fall.
Yeah, and you see the sort of stature, I think, from the other side, very experienced team in NRG. Stepping up deeper into stage 1, now stepping up in playoffs with their back against the wall. You see that in the individual play. 2 maps in a row, Brock has been stellar. See that in how Ethan is able to call through these rounds and to find the gaps against Furia's defense. That's been a staple as Mata slides into the site. That'll be the first kill, and he even looks into Garage. It's a little bit extra. It's looking nice. Let's listen to what NRG have in store.
Last player standing.
Out of charges. Take flight. Enemy mark.
Well,
maybe we'll try again later.
we got to call the comms are coming in, and the second we listen, everybody dies. So,
Yeah, they're not saying a whole lot there.
No, they kind of just hit the floor.
Yeah. Big round for Furia to win, though. The Flood retake on this site was good. That's immediately after their anchor player just gets completely owned in the corner, Nerve. But it was this Hunter's Fury from EU that set his teammates up to refight on that site.
Man, the double kill on the Soval. That's nutty.
Find their Cypher.
So finally, the Koala Noob Bop is here. This is what I've been waiting for.
We're in promised territory. Furia get a round win one of these rifles, but NRG are wasting no time, instantly pitting to this B. It's an Omen ult sticking. He's actually in front of a tripwire. Somehow the teleport into the corner. Might have been blinded up, couldn't see where he was headed. Now Furia stepped back into it. Brock in the corner was never cleared. Finally EU gets him. It is pandemonium on the B site.
And the spike got abandoned.
Still down there in the thick of it all.
Fast lane to steal it.
So now layers of smokes on top. Mata trying to escape, but there's the Koala operator. Again, that spike out in the open. Again, Koala connects. This round goes straight to FURIA.
Finally, the op in his hands, and he cleans up the round. That was a mess from NRG. Ethan, I think getting caught by the corner of a Phoenix flash there, ended up beefing the teleport. Yeah, you see he's paranoid. And then Alum fighting back in.
Do you see how the spike dropped? It like went behind the Omen. That was wild.
Did kind of a trick.
I wonder, he was so close to the wall, it might just bounce right off. Makes it even tougher for Mata to try and recover on the retreat.
Finally, NRG out of money. Feels like it's a first eco all series.
Yeah, so as a result, not only do you have the op, but EU chooses for the Outlaw. It's something he's been doing a little bit more often, I've noticed lately. Especially when he's playing the anchor position over towards A. In the corner, Artsin will turn away from the flash, holds it down. Very nicely done from Art, and we're knifing. All right, EU, welcome to the party, have some fun. Scuba instantly says no more of that, but this round is over and we're all tied at 4.
A good recovery from FURIA. I didn't expect the trajectory of this series to take us to FURIA getting knife kills, but okay.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens like that, Mimi.
And a couple rounds in a row now where Artsin playing these aggressive off angles. He's gotten a multi-kill anchoring. It was that round on C earlier. Now a 3K here as well. So the operator retained, NRG calling a timeout now.
Yeah, that's 3 in a row now from FURIA. After NRG have stopped playing the slower rounds and have gone for 3 really brisk hits.
Yeah, I wonder if they do want to slow the pace back down to how they were playing. I do think there's a justification in still getting, just kind of going for hits as well. When you play that slower style and you're more reliant on kind of contacting back into space, that's when Koala's operator becomes really scary.
True.
So I almost wonder if part of this conversation might be more around execution and how they're going into these hits versus just a big picture change.
Yeah, and to be fair, like that B hit, that's an Omen ult play that FURIA had a bit of a read on, had quick rotates into, so maybe not the most repeatable offenses. Be interesting to see where NRG go, whether or not it's going to be, you know, continuing to play for more A lobby control. Maybe we pivot and start working towards mid a tad. Because usually you would look at these rounds and you say, okay, we have the Phoenix, maybe we do some orb control, but with Kiko having that online already,
don't need to.
NRG don't have to play that little mini game.
And the angles you get the most worried about are mid, are C long. But it's always a question, where is that off this time? A 4-player stack from FURIA on A.
On Lotus, NRG always found the weak spot coming out of a timeout, but this time they are right in the position of Koala's op. Camera that Koala's just ignoring?
Wants to get the value out of this dash. He stays again.
Wow, supreme confidence from the duelist. It's nice to see him back with this operator in hand. Yeah, you love to see it. After not having the chance to play the agent, to play the op role much in stage 1. He's back in a comfortable position, but NRG's utility gives him no real value here.
And NRG leave an embed. Scuba tucked in the corner as the team goes back. For FURIA, though, they can rotate away with this op posted, but since those cages went up, they're afraid there was a timing of someone getting into long.
Whoop. Leg spotted and Cypher player down. That means NRG don't have that A pivot left. Good news is, Mod had already gotten up into garage. Very good at stepping into that space, forcing Art away. FURIA choose to play into the retake, and Kiko just runs on in on the run it back. Alum, worse for wear on the other side, as FURIA have no control on garage now.
He wanted to punish the body, but the hold was good. Up above Koala.
Wow, Koala having some fun here. Even dashing back away, his second dash on the round, and Nerve steps up as well. A beautiful round from FURIA.
And it's all about Koala, honestly. His persistent pressure in A. Him reading that someone would come back, someone would give him a chance. The second he hits that shot on Scuba, it forces NRG's hands. They have to make a play, they have to push. The team does a great job of collapsing to that fight.
So nice too, because his off was such a staple of that run of FURIA's during kickoff. And to see him do this with the Blade Storm, but also I think Nerve has had a complete bounce back. Getting the 2 kills in this round. Big for him. Well, FURIA were sort of stuck in that choke point. Needed both him and Koala to land theirs. Now Koala behind double doors. Camera to guide him and takes Scuba's legs out of there.
He hit him there. That is wild. This guy is just so fast when he has the op in hand.
And look at him, he's already shifting over to the A side.
And I love how they play so many resources around him. There, it was a cam, it was a flash.
Wow. Mata really trying to bait out this A hit again and nearly on the flick. Just barely scoops underneath Mata's elbow there.
He's been a millisecond away from 2 kills here already.
I like how FURIA started to play the map. Artson stepping out into mid. He has very good info to work off in this round. And now that he clears out mid, maybe he's a little bit too slow to hear the rotates going on to the C side. Maybe in a tough position as well as he's crossing over Scuba's position at the same time. Neither Cypher player is aware of the other. And only now do FURIA realize it's a C finish.
I think that duel in mid will be decisive.
Spike planted.
I don't know if they'll ever see each other.
He's walking all the way back spawn.
Yeah, it might actually be EU or Alum that find this Cypher first. Actually, Artson not going down long. Oh my word, he had a knife out, but Scuba was looking the wrong direction. A series of unfortunate events, but still not so simple for FURIA to get into this site. A dash up with Ethan sitting inside the smoke on 8 HP. Ethan lines them up, but FURIA still work back in. Artson activates on that lurk. Now Kiko pinched from both directions. A good flash for him, but Artson delivers once more for FURIA.
For the time, that's the problem.
Brutal.
If he had been a second faster, there was a chance, but he knew that this one was over.
Just
FURIA.
heartbreaking to have it stolen away there.
Yeah, a Red Bull clutch in the end from Kiko. Doing just enough to save it. The activity here was so good. The early push down mid, reposting Koala over towards A, constantly creating problems for NRG. But in the end, it was Ethan's position in the smoke CT that secured that round. Getting 2 kills, stalling them out. That saved it for NRG.
You love the roller coaster there from Bonkar, ready to hit the table and wait a second. No, they don't have time. We're all good. No worries there. A fight for mid now. Curveball around the corner.
Look at this ult.
Ethan all the way in spawn. EU spotted him, and now Ethan realizes he's behind enemy lines and taken down. Mata as well. So low on HP as Artson steps up into that fight. Full ego out of the in-game leader, and NRG kept at bay.
Insane start to this round. You saw that EU had no expectation of that ult actually getting stuck.
And now Alum steps up as well. FURIA have completely changed their logic on these maps. All of a sudden they're taking huge timings, Gamble stepping out into empty space. And it's paying off massively for them.
The disrespect is working, but the round's not over. A 2v4. Kiko.
Uh-oh. Kiko spots a player. Another one holding there, and Art will take him down. FURIA were really divided on the map. There was certainly an opportunity. Could still be one for Brock. Has a Hunter's Fury, but needs a couple of kills first. And now outside, double doors, Koala is there to take this one for FURIA again.
You mentioned it. The big change has been the proactivity from FURIA. They are avoiding no risk. They are slowing down at no point in the mid-round. Let's watch it again. Ethan, he definitely had a timing onto EU, but he just slinks away, and his bodyguard Koala in the right position to swing and defend.
I love to just seeing Artson step into, what, 2 or 3 players down sewers, get the kill, no problem.
And Alum's doing the same thing on the other side.
But Artson is now 16-7. This is a guy that only had 2 kills on the first map, but the turnaround from the Valorant veteran is massive for him.
And Nerve is back to struggling. They're just trading bodies back and forth of who gets the top frag and who gets the bottom frag.
Are they swapping seats? Like, I'm not sure what's going on out there. That's an early Hunter's Fury. EU choosing to pull that one out, and now NRG, they're without an in-game leader and they're without smokes.
And this is going to push them back into the operator. Koala waiting on C.
It's been nice to see this switch up for Koala.
Holding such a narrow angle.
Yeah, completely flush with the wall. Now stepping right down the middle of the fast lane. That is gutsy, and he's punished for it. Mata seizes the opportunity, but Nerve is there. Now trying to find a way out of that situation as the lasers cut him down from afar. Kiko will be sent back to C Long. And it's just Scuba in sight, who has an operator in his hands now, of all things. That shot goes wide. And now FURIA working back through the fire and the flames. EU tries to carve a path in. They'll have to come down to Artson now to have the lead at the half. Now puts the spam into Brock. These players are so low. An operator and a stinger. But how do you beat that with the Odin when Artson is down to 15 himself? You can't give him any room to breathe, and he won't. Has the read. Artson is shut out by Brock. We're tied at 6 at the half.
What a recovery at the very end from NRG. That round looked grim to begin with. But pure chaos in the team fight on site. That's what brought them back. This is just a great read from EU.
He TP'd right into it. Going for the fake TP at the start of the round.
Even hitting at the end there. Another 80 damage.
But it did not matter.
No. The other Hunters, Fury and Brock, really. I think the hero of that one, getting that backside stinger kill and then having the read to wrap.
I can't hit one shot.
Scuba maybe not wanting to pick up that operator in the future. Looking good though, tied apiece. We're heading into this break. We'll be right back.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Yeah, Furia's performance looks like it dipped a little bit since the start of the year, kind of opposite of Lev, where their performance is slowly on a decline, I would say. I think it's because people are learning how to play against them a little bit better, and they have a lot of like tricks up their sleeve. They're a very tricky team. Each player will just take whatever timing he feels like. EU will just buy an op if he wants to and sit in ropes. So it's definitely a hard team to play against because it's very random, but there's a method to their madness, and it's just about understanding it.
A revitalized FURIA have given us a map here. Things tied at 6, stepping in to their attack side. And really, I just have to hone in again, Mimi. Artson's turnaround from Lotus to this first half, where he got 17 kills in 12 rounds, is a thing that must be studied.
Yeah, it is insane that he's doing this again. He was the guy showing up in their grim previous match against Leviatán as well. But you need more from him, you need more from FURIA. Their stage on the line here as we're tied at the half. NRG, the first time we'll get to see them play Attack Haven with this new comp. The first time since it's come back into the map pool at all.
NRG's defense, something we're going to be looking at here. Kiko just secures the early orb, so looks kind of like their attack. Interesting, though, that they're fully abandoning this A side. Look at these players back here, now shifting towards that C side.
That's all because of the forward line.
Yeah.
They've established Mata on.
Not worried about the reclear. They'll leave him on the island and stack behind this utility on C. It's a good read, now spotting Nerve on the jump up from Scuba.
3 players here.
And reminder that FURIA not having a Neon makes it a lot more difficult to actually blitz into backside. That's where this reclear comes in big. Kiko steps in front of the hit, lands 2.
I love the timing of that. They do that as the attack smoke falls, time it out perfectly.
It's very nice. But FURIA have stuck around. Artson patrolling garage. While NRG are thinking maybe it would be a shift on B. Scuba in a nice little corner, tucked away. Removes Artson from the field of play.
But holding garage control, having a reflank coming, means that 2v5 feels nigh impossible to win. You would need some real magic from Koala here.
No, NRG are just going to take their time. Not taking any risks. finally now stepping back into things. You know, Ethan was
Last player standing.
getting emotional after they won the pistol to start off this map, and the success is going to continue for NRG. Yet another one going their way.
Looking perfect in those rounds now. A lot of the ideas here looked great from them. From early on, securing the Phoenix Orb and getting Mata posted, to late round, knowing that there was present C, but not wanting to lose tempo, and going for this active reclear. There you see Page falls, immediate pop flash into 2 kills.
Good fight, Long C, bro.
Ethan looking comfortable up there, as FURIA have to ask themselves if they want to go for a force. I'm not sure they got enough kills to really do it. Yeah, they got a spike plant, and EU is going for an attack outlaw on Sova?
Yeah, in that halftime little snippet, Mata said, hey, sometimes EU just buys it off.
All
Maybe
right.
not that dissimilar here.
That is some wild stuff, while Mata's operator, or outlaw, essentially an operator, will land in a main.
Everyone but Mata has full armor, so I struggle to see where EU is going to get his value here.
It's interesting because a lot of times you would see maybe if you're going to hero buy something like that, you drop that over to one of your duelists. But I think with EU being, you know, 4 to his Hunter's Fury already, the idea might be a little bit more to play to try and get that early online. If you're getting kills on anyone, maybe a little bit more impactful on the Sova.
It's deep in bed from Koala. I wonder if part of it is just a read after NRG did go for a full FPX buy on their last round after winning pistol.
Yeah, just the difference between attack and defense. On defense, NRG not going to go for that one when FURIA get to choose where the fights end up going.
Exactly. That full armor is so much more valuable.
Exactly. Everyone having a weapon is important. So now all these players are going down, and Ethan is like, wait, he has an outlaw? All right, I guess we'll kill him anyways. NRG without too much of a problem there to convert this round. Yeah, Brock's like, what's this guy doing?
Investigating the relic that has appeared at their doorstep.
Like, do we want a second outlaw, like polling the room, trying to figure out what the play is?
And that means EU is stuck with a Sheriff on this next round.
Yeah, Artson as well has to go for a Guardian because he can't get full armor and a full rifle, knowing that there's the chance of 1 or even 2 outlaws on the other side now.
Huh.
I'm a little surprised. EU has actually sold the Sheriff he was sitting on.
And Kiko has his run it back as well. This is kind of a terrifying bonus round now.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Sheriff ended up coming back at the last moment for EU. But a lot more is going to be asked of the tip of the spear for FURIA, Noob, whether or not he can get the advantage for NRG against them. Ethan playing the high line here, but not taking the fight into window.
After a very active pistol, they play a bit more passive now, drone back into A. And Ethan, he'll have a chance.
He's in a decent enough spot, but Koala just tears him apart. That'll be the opener you're looking for. That's a rifle able to be recovered now as Kiko gets back into it. And hold on a second, FURIA are not on B. They're trying to switch back towards C.
Only one player here, though. Scuba with a Spectre backside.
Yeah, actually, it's Kiko that was rotating, but that was with the run it back, so he's sent packing. And now FURIA realize they still have time. They leave the insert of EU, who never picked up the gun on site. That is still a Sheriff. He's now worked behind these players. The Sheriff, he doesn't need anything else. Might have wanted a little bit more, switching around for that last kill. Now with Artson in the 1-on-2. Dominant throughout this map, but not to continue. NRG's reign of 3 rounds in a row is unbroken.
I think that is 3 kills and a 1 round if EU has a gun. He had the drop on all of them there.
He did, and it's like you see him trying to slow down to hit that last Sheriff shot because you can't miss that bullet. No. It has to be perfect. Anything else, and he'd have a little bit more leeway to react quicker.
You see here, Brock is whiffing. Mata's not looking at him.
And it all goes back to the decision to buy the Outlaw that had no value in round 2 for him.
Brutal. And now they're on another eco, round 16.
And this is FURIA fighting against elimination here. They already lost map 1. This is their map pick. It was a tied first half, but now you lose the anti-bonus. Can you get back with some magic here on a Thrifty? Couple of stingers in the inventory. Blaze walls exchange, and FURIA have purchase now on the site.
NRG will just play retake. Mata has already worked his way back around. They'll re-clear garage. FURIA need to try and find an opener.
Brock ready to lay down the spam. And pressure out of garage as well. FURIA step forward for this fight, but you can't step into Brock. He will tear you apart. 17 kills so far today. And now Hunter's free to push him away. The timing is perfect from FURIA. First kill took Wall, and they step back into the site. Bide their time. Entice NRG, siphoning them into the site, but now Ethan is struck in from behind. Ethan and Mata rip into FURIA. With only 2 left alive, it is now Artson. 18 HP, a prayer, and a sheriff. Not today, says Scuba. NRG on to 10.
Another big investment from FURIA, another big chance. But despite the Hunter's Fury, despite how good the fight was, NRG's next layer was better. They step back. Mata and Ethan activate in this retake. Look at this slide. It's perfect. Pulls out the majority of the bullets on that Stinger. And Scuba's there to clean it up.
Nice, boys!
This is how quickly it slips away, though.
Yes, it does.
Tied at the half. Now NRG only 3 rounds away from eliminating FURIA.
FURIA have to buy. But already look how low they are. Qual's on 2 HP, Art's on 29. Just the damage of Brock's Odin.
It was only 1 burst.
And that's 3 seconds into a round. Now you're trying to reassess your options. Mata might want to reassess that angle. Let's listen to FURIA's plans here on elimination.
It saw us too. Nice. 5v3 guys, 5v3. Sobo's there.
Come see, boys. Come see.
Yeah, we're leaving.
Could be down here now.
Yes. Upper could be here.
Come gosh.
Actually, upper's
No, go long, please.
Go long. Just run around and clear, guys. 3 of us are 1.
Flashing this. I have a garage then.
So it can spawn down it, okay?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, King's not probably care, guys.
Watch out, trips. I don't want to. Can you smoke garage, Mike?
Yeah, window?
Yeah, no, normal.
Okay, normal.
I'm off you, Ward. I'm off you.
Staying back.
EU stepped up majorly in this round. And now Artson too, the 2 players that were taken so low early on. Just diff this round on an individual level. EU's lurk, that proactivity on full display.
No one else is really a factor but him in this round. Getting the kill alone in garage, getting a further pick towards Spawn Kiko. Doing further damage. Now just looking to back away.
Yeah, finally a little sigh of relief in the FURIA camp. You know, I remember watching at the end of that series versus Leviatán, just the look of dismay on Artson's face. Full on, head down, in hands. And then I turned around just before this round, after that last one slipped away. It was the same exact look from him. But now, has some teammates behind him to step up and keep it competitive.
And the player doing it is EU. When they struggled in kickoff, it was EU stepping up in the big games. In Santiago, when they went out early, when they didn't live up to their expectation.
They're actually heating him up. Thank you, guys.
EU was that
huge.
player.
Yeah,
He was the guy making the difference.
Yeah, in that last year's Artson was the only guy, now tied at 18 kills apiece. EU steps in to find some impact. It'll be a fight over A to start things off. NRG actually looking deep behind this fast lane. And Nerve backed into the corner. He has Paranoia out in his hand. NRG are ripping FURIA apart again, dominating in the A main fight, and even a little bit more spam on the backside. Mata for 2 on that one. And FURIA consider working back into lobby.
Enemy mark.
They don't know anything else on the map right now. But Brock's still on this tight angle, ready to spam.
Flash around the corner. Brock returns a shock and falls back to a deeper angle.
NRG expect to pivot back to B late.
The difference between a 1 and the last round here for FURIA is massive. To go within 2 or 2 rounds deciding NRG winning this series. That's what's on the line here.
No drone means NRG just have to sit and wait.
Patience. And now Alum wins that fight? Are you kidding? Alum might have seen a path back in here. Brock just waiting for the blaze to fall. He's stepping into it. That's insane. What's he doing? Going in front of that play, slow on the peak. It's tied. 3 players alive on both sides now. Kiko in heaven. Chips away. at Koala, jumping on backwards, 20 seconds left on the clock.
And there's still a molly to stall.
NRG choose to fall out of heaven instead. FURIA just fully walking back into the site. Somehow it has been brought to even. So much riding on this, and Kiko bests Salim. Now with the run it back, adds another player into the mix. But NRG are low. It'll have to be EU again. Waiting down in hell, and 1-on-3. The shots connect. They land, but there's too much to deal with. NRG move on to 11.
FURIA looked like magic was happening again. But NRG too good at closing out these advantages. Kiko going in early, getting that kill, earning the run it back. That's what made the difference in this inevitable 3v3. FURIA never really should have had a chance after how good this read was. The full commitment into A lobby. A 5v3 to start.
I think Brock thought he had a little bit more room on the side of the Blaze wall to go for the clear there. Ended up getting stuck, and as a result, too slow to get through. So now trailing 4. That look returns to Art. 7-11. FURIA call a timeout. Their last-ditch effort to stay alive in this tournament.
FURIA, as an organization, they've always been at the bottom of Americas. Their highest hope was the earliest tournament back in 2023. This year was the first time it was different. They go international, they pick up rookies, they rebuild completely. And have the biggest shock that anyone could have expected. The top seed out of kickoff. But that's just one tournament. That's just a flash in the pan if you're returning to a first-round exit here in the playoffs.
Yeah, because, I mean, you even look at this matchup, right? It was NRG that went deeper than them. Back in Santiago, right? FURIA didn't get that chance. Now a chance to get eliminated here. Still so far away from having a shot to qualify again.
Keep up.
It'll be Artson with a Sheriff. It'll be Alum on a Stinger. The tool's not quite there. But FURIA had time to come up with a plan.
A much slower start from them this round.
Wild setup from NRG. Double trips outside of A long. But Garage is going to be the first focal point by FURIA.
Kiko in the corner.
Stepping back, that flash, not going too deep. And now NRG like their position. You've got Mata pushed all the way long. You have a stronghold on C. Even Brock jiggling on a more passive line. Now we'll hear the drone and call Scuba back into the site.
Remember, double trips on short. Brock with an Odin behind it.
They're just contacting up. Brock is such a problem in this position, but Nerve will solve him. Now it's Scuba. And Kiko already back into the site.
30 seconds left.
Both trips dealt with. FURIA have been good on this approach, but Kiko is here! And Kiko lands on 2. More and more NRG members step into this fight. Nerve is so low, but Nerve secures 3 into the round. Desperate measures required for FURIA, as EU will take him down, an 8 for FURIA.
A massive 3K from Nerve that round. They were walking back into his stack, walking back into the double trips, the Odin. Looks like it could have been the end.
Whew.
But he's shut down there at 1 HP.
Nice transfer from Kiko regardless. But Nerve's work was enough to take the round for FURIA.
Adam!
Call back to the first map when we had Mata waving down EU.
So some energy back for Shaw, for the FURIA boys. And now it's Bonkar taking his turn at a timeout.
So back-to-back timeouts, huh?
And when it's so close to your opponent's last timeout, that makes me think that he has something specific he wants.
Yeah.
That he has a read.
And solving problems before the game gets dead even too.
And Bunkar's so good at it. The strength of this NRG team is how they build into tournaments. Sure, they lost to FURIA week 1. Sure, they started this stage 0-2. But they still made playoffs. They still showed up. And this is where they thrive. when they have the footage, when they've had the time to improve, and when Bonkar can get in the conversation.
Yeah, no, I was especially impressed back on Lotus. Coming out of every single timeout, on the attack side, NRG were somehow mind-reading Furia and hitting the weak sides. And on defense, they seemingly had all the right answers as well. That was a big reason the blowout came into effect.
So 3 go mid this round. NRG look for a fight.
It's all about to go down. I just wonder how fast Mata's gonna be. It's gonna be a walk or a slide. Curveball at the ready. But Furia haven't stepped in just yet. They're taking it a bit calmer. Koala reveals himself and Mata's whiffing. You can't be missing those shots. The rest of NRG is there though. Trades aplenty. Everything goes awry for Furia.
Desperation from Art. The IGL trying to save his team steps forward.
But now revealed. Neural theft. Scuba knows exactly where he is. And Nerve's even a little bit slow to get over here. Could have ulted in. Now the worry of spam and shock darts to rain down out of Brock. We've seen Artson be dominant in this map. We've seen a few big rounds out of Nerve. But now their season rests on it. Fake TP from Ethan. Setting up this plan. The utility out from Brock is devastating. Has downloaded Furia's position, but as the smoke falls, it is Art waiting for it. And now Nerve caught in a 1-on-2 with the run it back as well. He is fighting an uphill battle. Cole's back, but Brock will take him down. The spam is too much as Brock steals Furia's hopes away.
The read out of this timeout was perfect from NRG. They expect the mid play. They're ready for it with 3. And the fight was absolute perfection from them.
Nice shot from Scuba.
This is what makes them so good. Being that step ahead. Recognizing when a game is starting to slip and they need to change it up.
Kiko getting the run it back online completely changes that as well.
Furia can't believe it.
Get out of my way!
Would need 4 in a row. The #1 team in kickoff at risk of falling out in 8th.
Camera taken out.
In the first round of the lower bracket. And they look timid. Thrown into lobby. Doesn't even spot Mata tucked into the corner. Don't know if it'll do Artson any good. That's a Sheriff in his hands. Now he has to call from the grave.
Furia have garage control, but little else on the map.
I have the spike.
Where can they even find a pick? Brock holds passive on B. The Cypher passive on the other side. NRG giving nothing away.
Yeah, you don't want to go near Brock. He has been the guy today. Best player in the server by a long shot. And now Hunter's Fury from back in spawn. EU blinded up. Now just 3 remain. As the swing comes onto the seaside, Furia have their duelists alive, have Nerve into it, but they have no position anywhere on the map. Alum investigates garage as the rest of NRG group up.
It has to be him.
Has a timing here from window. No one's looking at him. Catch them with util in hand, but the spam is there. Now just 2 remain for Furia. No more second chances. No more hope for Furia. NRG will send them home and advance here in the first round of the lower bracket.
Incredible performance today from NRG. They came into Lotus prepared. They debuted their Haven, looked good on that as well. And they've shown why this organization is one to fear. Why the other 4 teams left in this lower bracket have to be ready for them if they want a ticket to London.
NRG just getting better and better as the stakes raise. Doesn't matter what tournament they're playing on, doesn't matter which stage they are on. They're gonna step up and deliver.
What a day from Kiko. I've loved watching him pivot more and more into playing this second duelist. Map 2 of this series, he drops 20 on the Phoenix. In the tournament that means the most to him to get his slot, to play in front of his home crowd.
And to do it here, for the first time, we hadn't seen NRG play this Haven in Stage 1. Debut that Phoenix and look real good while doing it. Unfortunately, it does mean the end of FURIA. Two of our top teams that represented the region back during kickoff. But now things are all sorts of topsy-turvy. FURIA are out and NRG are here to stay, a menace in the lower bracket.
And now it's the start of a revenge tour for NRG. They started this season by losing to FURIA. They've beaten them now. After that, they lost to Crew. A chance coming up for them to do the same, knock that team out of contention.